All right, guys, welcome back to Three Base Drip. Um, this was meant to be a short series on what to do when you are sitting at the top, and how to manage that. And so, the last video I showed you, I have to readjust some of this stuff here. Last video I showed you, I had three bases and was getting ready to jump for a fourth, but then had the sense to wait and kind of recalibrate and build up my forces to be ready for the fourth base. And um, part of that was due in part to my friend British East Africa here, kind of ringing a bell in my head. And if he had been more dishonest, he could have maybe lured me into attacking this fourth base and then attacked into my third here in Baghdad. Um, but he's a man of honor, like he, and I think we've both been that way with each other, been pretty straight up, like, um, I did try to lure him into attacking into British Canada here, but I didn't lie to him. I was like, "You can take that oil field," and I left out some information, for instance, that I was trying to take this fourth, but he saw through it, and so I really admired him for that. But at the same time, as I mentioned in the last broadcast, um, he made me think twice. So I removed most of my forces, retreated back to my third here in Baghdad, and really fortified that well. And only after I'd really, really felt secure here did I move into my fourth. So we're now at a position where I have all four. You can see the countdown timer is going. It's got 22 hours left. It starts with 3 days. So, it starts with 72 hours. So we're down. We're down to the wire here. We're down to under a day. And let me just kind of walk you around and show you what's happened. So this was an early contain here that I had to make. Egypt attacked me out of nowhere, but it was a great contain because a lot of times if you try to contain somebody, you have to occupy all three territories outside of their home 8 because you can never attack into that home 8. And if you don't know that, you need to know that about this game mode. You cannot attack into the home 8. And what usually happens is even if a person attacks you and then you go to war with them and you beat them back to their home 8, then they quit the game and an AI takes over. And then the AI just patiently builds up artillery and even tanks sometimes and infantry, and then they storm out of there at some point. So you've got to contain them. This game has been good to me because there was just a thin corridor, so I could just hold one territory against them, and that's a really, really big advantage because you can build up the fortress there and really put a lot of stuff there, which I did until I took my fourth. Once I took my fourth, I pulled everyone out of there back to the nearest oil field here, and really, like, my focus now is fortifying my 4 oil fields. So I mentioned last time that I thought he would have that British East Africa would have a lot of people here. He did not. He went for a more direct frontal assault. That may have been a big mistake for him, but at the same time, I was ready here as well. You can see I've just got 350 guys, 45 cannon, and then satellite cannon here. And at one point, I also had some fighters over there. My bombers are mobile. They can move around between these two. And then my original oil field is pretty well fortified as well. This one's got 432 infantry. So you can see, like, what I did, and it was really cool because I feel like British East Africa woke me up in a way and reminded me, like, no, when I take this fourth, like, be ready. And so I took an additional, like, maybe 3 or 4 days, maybe even more, and just really, really built up my forces. So you can see I've got a nice swarm of fighters kind of running screen here. Some of my fighters are scouts. So, you can send your fighters out to run patrol. And what they do is reveal who's ever there, which is great if you've got bombers, because your bombers can then use whatever's revealed to target specifically. And I'm targeting this one because it has 5 cannon in it. So these 13 bombers are going after that. You missed the main war. The main war is already over. The main war, he came in with a lot of stuff. I'm going to say probably, 400,000 at least infantry, like a good 50 or 60 artillery. And what he did not have was the Air Force. And then, of course, you've just got that advantage when you're playing defensively. Because if you got a fortress, even a level 2 fortress, you're absorbing 2/3 of the damage. So it's like whatever they attack you with is shrunk by 2/3. So like, oh, great, you've got, 420 attacks, but only 1/3 of those get through, so that's huge. Now, granted, when you suffer major attacks like that, it does wear down your fortress, but at least for the first 1 or 2 rounds, it's just a huge advantage. And so when you're playing defensively, that is a big advantage. And when you've got that many infantry like I've got here, and that many cannon, 45 here, I had more, it really, really makes it hard to crack. Meanwhile, I had come in here. It was kind of a fun thing with a pincer attack. I'd sent in like 150 and some cannon from my 3rd oil field here into here. And then I'd sent in a bunch of people from I guess this is my 1st oil field. Yeah. So here I am down here. It's my 1st oil field. And there was a corridor opened here. And I sent a nice little amount of people through there too. And so they sort of attacked here simultaneously. I waited to attack in because I knew that countdown timer would come. But sure enough, nobody was fooled. They attacked me even before this, even before I'd taken the oil fields. I was trying to take all the surrounding double tiles before I went into there. And they attacked me when I was like, all right, I'm just going to take the middle oil field anyway. So you can see this is actually my weakest position here. 289.32. And that's actually more like 300 once you get trickle in people. But, look over here, 300 versus 378 and 45. And back here, I'd been preparing for a side assault here, 350, 45. And these guys are just sitting there. Nobody's attacking them. But I had to be ready, And then back here at my primary oil field, 432 and 37 cannon. And then, whoever this is completely cut off my reinforcements. But here's the thing. At this point, I don't need reinforcements. All I need to do is survive for another 21 hours and 59 minutes and 57 seconds. So it was a cool experience. It really was. So what I did was, since I had 3 oil fields, including Baghdad, and that was important that I had Baghdad, because that's a 9 instead of a 5. That's huge. That's like way bigger. I just sat on it for a long time and just built up forces, just built and built and built. Once I was confident that I had enough forces on each individual area, and I shuffled things around. I sent things from here to here and here to here and whatnot. Then I went ahead and attacked into my 4th. The idea being, when that happens, I'm drawing everything back. Everything, even my outer double tiles. You can see here that British East Africa has taken 4 of my double outer tiles. It doesn't matter. That's not how you win the game. You win the game by keeping the central oil field. So I drew them in and I kept as many as I could because I'm still developing stuff here. I've got a bomber here. I'm just kind of broke right now. But I mean, I've got some stuff developing out on these outer ones while I've got 2 bombers going. So why not? But the main thing is keeping the inner territory strong. So I just thought I'd share this with you. This is kind of fun. We're in the end game here. We're in the last 22 hours or so, and it's looking pretty secure. Everyone is attacking me as planned, but I've got really strong defensive positions here all across the board. So I'm feeling good. Got some fighters here. I brought some fighters over here because I didn't know if British East Africa would have stuff here poised. And then here's what's crazy is that Russia is attacking British East Africa. And Russia is at this point an AI. Like, look, there's nobody there. So I don't know why, but instead of attacking me, which everybody in the game should be doing, the AI is attacking my foe. So, okay, I was looking at my popularity and it's not that high. 24%, that's pretty awful, really. But so, you play the cards you've been dealt, and that happened to be a nice little card. So, I'm just going to play one more in this series, and it might be just after I win, if I win, hopefully, just show you the end position of things. So anyway, thanks for checking in, guys. The 3-base drip has become 4-base, and now it's almost time to end the game. So I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Adios.